Well, hello, you fabulous interior design professional. Welcome to Business of Design, episode 380. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. You're going to meet a lovely woman. I liked this conversation very much. Beth Maricic. I hope I said it right, Beth. I'm not sure. But Beth specializes in residential design, but recently, meaning in the last, 4 or 5 years, she came to the conclusion that she wasn't really living within her values, and her values included being very thoughtful about the environment, how materials feel and work, whether things are recyclable, what can be saved versus demolished. And by integrating those passions that she had privately into her business life, Beth says it just dramatically improved everything about how she feels and her business, which is really cool. She's going to talk about her son, Alex, who is on the spectrum and how it has impacted him. She's going to talk about the curve she's noticing where clients are saying yes more often to environmentally healthy choices. And I found this a really good reminder to be as thoughtful as possible when I'm making selections on behalf of clients. So great conversation. If you want to find out more about Beth, she's on Instagram at Beth Maricic Design, and that is BethMaricicDesign. There. You don't have to worry about writing it down. All the show notes are at Business of Design. And at the end of the conversation, Beth and I kind of offline, and she talked about wanting to build a community. And, of course, she's been a member of Business of Design, and those monthly meetings where we get together on Zoom and the topics vary. It's a wide range of topics, but that's a really good place to meet like-minded designers. So if you're looking to build a community that's kind of a niche, those BOD monthly meetups are a really good place to do that. So can't recommend membership enough, obviously. I believe it will dramatically change your business, but it will also dramatically change your life. And the conversation today is a great reminder of how being consistent from business to personal life is kind of a game changer. It certainly was for me. We're glad you're here. Cheryl Horn's going to jump in with announcements, and we'll get right into the episode.
Thanks, Kimberly. Well, coming up on June 26th is our next BOD Live, and the topic we're doing is a hybrid model contract, which we're doing because more and more members are asking for it, which is a combination of Business of Design's flat fee method and hourly fee method following the BOD 15. So you don't want to miss that one. It is happening at 1 p.m. EST on June 26th. And of course, we record that for any of our members who aren't able to attend live. By all means, if you have questions, email them to me in advance and I will get them in front of Kimberly. We will answer them live. And then again, you can catch up on that recording. And then we also want you to save the date for October 26th. Business of Design is turning 20, and we are going to be celebrating, hopefully with you, at High Point Market. So again, October 26th, save the date. The details we have so far are on the website, but we will certainly be adding to that. We are all hands on deck planning for this event, and we are doing that in partnership with Anmore, High Point Market, and Daniel House Club. So we are super excited about that one. We do have an RSVP on the website. You do not need to sign up in order to attend. Everyone is welcome. But if you're a member of Business of Design, if you've been in touch with me over the years, I would love to see your name on that list, just so I can watch for you. I know names, but I haven't had the honor of meeting all of you face to face, so I am very much looking forward to that in October. So if you want to head to the website and RSVP, you do need to register for High Point Market in order to attend. And I believe registration opens up in August for that, which of course we will keep you posted on. But for now, head to the website and mark your calendar October 26th to celebrate 20 years of Business of Design at High Point Market. Thanks so much.
Hey, Beth. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you doing, Kimberly?
Good. I see your library behind you. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're listening to the podcast, Beth, is obviously you're in your office and you've got a full library. It looks like fabrics galore behind you. A busy day at work.
You gotcha. Yep.
And where are you? Where are you located?
I'm actually in Dundas, Ontario, so just outside of Hamilton. We're
Oh,
actually technically
local.
in Hamilton, I should
In
say.
Hamilton. Okay, so that's near Toronto. Isn't Hamilton, isn't that where is Justin Bieber from there? Is that where he's from?
He's actually from Stratford.
Okay, who's from Hamilton? Somebody's from
Uh,
Hamilton.
I
This is
can't think.
this is a
I
game we
can't think of a
Canadians
lot of
play
people.
where it's true. Okay, not far from Toronto is what we're saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
GT.
good. And we're going to talk about, I think this is a passion of yours. I don't know if it's a recent passion, but we're going to talk about the value of being more conscious of the materials we choose. I hesitate to say recycle, reuse because everybody's going to go like, I've heard it already. But it's really just kind of being more conscious about the choices you make on behalf of your clients.
Absolutely. Yes, for sure.
Tell us how you got to that place in your journey.
So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a long story, but I'll make it short. Don't worry, Kimberly. I actually, my background is actually in anthropology and cultural anthropology. So I did graduate work and I studied and I lived abroad and stuff like that. And I have always had a deep, deep respect for Indigenous cultures and their commitment to the environment and how their livelihoods are completely intertwined with the environment. Then, step like about 15 years later, or 20 years later, I should say, I ended up having, well, after becoming a designer, I ended up also having a child, or my oldest has special needs, and he has autism as well
Okay.
as intellectual disabilities. And what I noticed throughout his life is how much the environment and that of which is in the house affects him. And so so I've just always had this acute awareness. So he's 18 now. So I would say probably in about 2020, so actually pre-COVID, so maybe 2019, I started to really go deep with this and see what just to understand his connection to the environment and also how what I put into the house affects him as well. So
Is he verbal? Is he able to tell
partially,
you about his
partially.
experiences to a limited degree?
Yeah, to a limited degree. So, but I could see like
Okay.
it's kind of fascinating, to be
Can you
honest.
give us an example of something that made you think, huh? First of all, what's your son's name?
His name's Alex.
Alex. Okay. What was something that Alex's behavior that made you think, huh, I wonder if there's something going on here in the environment that might be better for
Well,
Alex.
first and foremost, he does so well when he's outside, just like most kids do. But
Mhm.
I would notice immediately if that he would do like as soon as I took him outside on a trail specifically, not with like with birds and stuff, he
Mhm.
would always do a lot better. Like honestly, Kimberly, it's cheesy, but he's one of those kids where like we'd be walking in the Royal Botanical Gardens, like in the RBG nearby, and like birds would like perch on him, kind of thing. Like
Mm.
it's really cool.
Wow.
But anyway, so then in terms of inside, I became really cognizant or aware of like air, like how like in the summer he does better when the windows are open from like
Mhm.
I have tons of plants in his room. It affects his sleeping, I think, like positively. So he's got lots of
Wow.
plants in his room. Natural fibers, he would actually like he goes towards natural fibers and stuff like that. Anyways,
Mhm.
it was that feeling. So
They're not kind of overt, so it takes a little while to kind of put all the pieces together. Is that fair to say?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My son, my son he's turning 35 this week, which is, I can't believe that because I'm only 37. How did that
I,
happen? But he's Asperger's and ADHD, but he was more, this is interesting to me because he was more triggered by noise, didn't like loud noises. He's highly functioning and
yeah.
verbal. Now he could talk about things, but it's interesting to think about, yeah, he didn't like things. He was really conscious of the way things felt when,
Mhm.
like a shoe that rubbed him the wrong way or socks that were
Yeah.
itchy or those things were very disturbing to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and same thing with Alex, but I didn't realize like he how happy he was, or how much happier and calm he was
Yeah.
if I changed the environment in the house and
Interesting.
used more natural fibers and all that kind of stuff. So basically I started going on a journey with that, and then with him, of course. And then I
Mm.
started realizing, Kimberly, that in 2022, that I felt like I was living a world, like I had my past life where I was like so involved in the environment and indigenous cultures and studying them and doing all this. And then I had my life in design. And then I
Hmm.
had my family life. And I really realized that I needed to kind of pull them together, and I needed to align my business more with my values and what I believed in terms of my son and what I believed in my heart and stuff like that. So that's kind of what's really yeah, drawn me in terms of all this.
Do
So
you feel more centered yourself now that you've recognized that you had these kind of disparate elements and bringing them together made you feel more whole?
100%. Like
Wow.
literally, Kimberly, 100, like 110%. If you
Wow.
saw me, honestly, like once I started doing this, like it changed. It totally changed me. Like 5 years ago, I had visible signs of stress. And I truly, like, I would get eczema all the time, Kimberly. I was sleeping horribly.
Mhm.
And and obviously this has been a 5 year process. Like this has been a long 4.5, 5 year process. But it's completely changed me and my business, to be honest. It's given me a
How
lot more courage and
how
stuff like
talk about your business. Like, are you overtly telling clients that these are your values and this is what you're into, or are you just treating them like you would previously, but now your focus has changed?
I would say it's a little bit of both. Like if I don't know if you were on my website at all, but on my website, I talk a lot about it. I don't want to preach. I'm not a preacher. I don't want to preach to people. All I want to do is encourage people instead, just to think about their intentions when they're designing houses. So that goes with my clients too. So to answer your
Give them
question,
the option, kind of, right? Like, just
and that's what I do.
present the option, because a lot of times you don't even know that there is an option. My son's also vegan, and so now I'm
Yes.
well aware of
Yes.
lots of choices that I make without even considering the impact to another sentient being. So, uh,
100%.
right, until someone tells you, "Hey, have you ever thought about?" You might not know.
Absolutely. And I think so that's the approach to answer your question, Kimberly. That's what the approach I take. So I always give them, I have this option. So, this option, say, is like, let's use flooring, for example. This is cork, for example. We use cork flooring so, so cork is, made out of a sustainable resource and versus vinyl for your basement.
Hmm.
It's a petroleum-based product. It can give off, VOCs, blah, blah, blah. Like I give them all the information, like my background in like with my graduate work and stuff. Honestly, Kimberly, I'm probably annoying sometimes, but I research everything. So I give them like the option. And I said, like, here's the benefits of your vinyl in the basement, A,
Right,
B, C, D, and E. And then here's the benefits of cork, A, B, C, D, and E. You make the choice. Like ultimately, it's based on your values, it's based
right.
on what you believe in. And I just like to give you the information
Is
and you.
there a price difference between those two? Typically, a little bit
Yes,
more for cork than for, yeah.
absolutely.
How,
Especially,
oh, go ahead,
yeah.
especially.
No, especially with certain like levels of flooring.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And how often do clients go for the cork versus the vinyl?
You know what? I would say more and
Interesting.
more, Kimberly. People, I'm seeing an uptake. At the beginning, I wasn't seeing an uptake. It was kind of
Yeah,
like, yeah, yeah. But I would say in the like, particularly when we had a winter without snow pretty much this year,
right,
you know what I mean? I think people are realizing like just the smallest decision that they can make can have an impact. So
right.
I feel like more and more people are definitely making decisions to go with the cork versus the vinyl. Um,
That's
but as you
fascinating.
know, yeah,
I would, I there's a house that I love in Palm Springs, the Kaufman House, and they have cork flooring. And
yeah,
it's been, I think it was, I don't know, 60s or something when it was designed. And you can
yeah,
just give it a light sanding and it's brand new. It's just beautiful stuff, but you might
yeah,
not even consider that if
no,
someone didn't give you that option.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's how, yeah, that's that. So that's the approach that I take. I never want to, I don't go to the wall about, you have to do this. It's just more, giving them opportunity to choose. So I always
Mm,
give them two choices. That goes
yeah.
with textiles as well. I go deep into textiles as well with clients, rugs, like the list goes on, basically.
Textiles, I think, are relatively easy to stick to natural products. And, there's a big misconception that if you purchase a synthetic carpet, for example, it lasts forever. And I always tell clients it does last forever, but it will look horrible really fast. It'll look,
Absolutely.
right? It'll look bad
Yeah.
really quickly, where wool actually will also last forever, but you can clean it forever and it breathes and it gives life to your space. So I don't tend to give two options. I just tend to say this is what you should do and then, kind of sell it. But
Yeah.
I wonder as you become more confident in your approach, if you'll like lean that way as well. And even maybe lean into the marketing of, you know, what you're doing. I wouldn't know how to market it in a way that would attract the ideal client, but not scare somebody who might be an ideal client. You know what I mean? Like the minute you say
Totally.
reuse, reduce, recycle, people kind of go like, "Oh, please stop it already.
Yeah.
I can't take it anymore." Some
Ab-
people.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. No, and I think that that's what's been hard for my business is I think at the beginning I scared some people off when I went that route, but then I've really attracted a lot of really interesting people as well that
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from too through the process, and they've been fabulous clients. So,
Well, that's the beauty of niching, right? You are going to scare some off, but they are not your ideal client. And then you're going to actually end up attracting more people who feel attuned with you. So
yeah.
I think it's a really, I think niching is the way to go. What are some things that we can think about? Let's say the designer who's listening to the podcast is thinking, I would like to do a better job, but I'm not willing to be vegan. I know that's an
I get
extreme, but what are some things we can think about?
So there's lots. So I guess I always like to divide it between construction versus the decorating aspects in terms of finishing. So from a construction standpoint, I I always choose to do I like to choose deconstruction first. So it's demolition plus deconstruction. So we try to deconstruct whatever possible from the house that
Tell
can be
us what that
simple.
means. What do you mean?
So for example, yeah, so like a really easy way to describe it would be if you're doing a main floor renovation, for example, and you're knocking out walls, and you're replacing the kitchen, so forth. What I would do is I would definitely have all of the cabinets removed and whether they are sold, like the existing cabinets, whether they are sold or they're given to Habitat is a really easy way of doing it. If it's an older house, so anything, Kimberly, older than 1970, all of the wood that's in those houses, particularly in framing, is all old growth from old growth forests. So actually calling a deconstruction, like an actual deconstruction company
Mhm.
to remove a lot of these, like whether it's timber in the walls, even if it's old doors in old houses, like all of these things they have a home. Like people
Mhm.
want them.
Right.
And we assume that it all wants to go that, we assume that it's all waste because we're maybe not all, like not everyone's interested in it or
Right.
it doesn't look great anymore. Actually calling a deconstruction company and having them properly remove it is ideal. Another thing that I like if I'm working on old houses, so old meaning, you know, century homes, for example, that have interesting doors or like anything interesting in the house, from trim to flooring, all of that. I usually will call companies too, such as there's one that's in Waterloo called Artifacts, and I'll call him to come and pick up stuff as well as if he's interested in things and so forth.
I
So,
haven't been to that store in years. I would have thought they weren't still around. I'm gonna
oh
have to
no,
make
he's
a day
still,
trip and do that. Yeah.
oh no,
That's
he's still there. Chris is still there. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So the reality is we just want to be more thoughtful, it sounds like, before we're tossing things because those things could be used again and again. And there's
Yeah,
no
for sure.
replacing those old growth, forests there that are long gone. So we might as well take advantage of what's
And
there.
people want them and people will pay for them, Kimberly. This is
Yeah,
the thing. People actually will pay for that stuff.
right.
So why throw it out when you can actually make money or your clients can make money too? So,
Mhm.
it's to think about it that way too. It's actually not garbage. It's actually a lot of it's worth something.
Oh, I love that idea too. So that's the construction side of things. What about on the decorating side?
It's all in the plan. So, and you are so good at teaching all of this, Kimberly, but working way. So like it involves time for sure. So, I really enjoy, I connect a lot with my own community. So, buying local whenever possible, obviously. We've talked about different types of products. So there's something called regenerative. I'm sure you guys, what we talk about regenerative design. So picking products that actually give back to the environment rather than take away from the environment. So, such things as wool, or we hear about mycelium, and a lot of other products.
What is mycelium? I don't, I,
Mushroom. It's made out of mushrooms. So
um,
it's bananas. So I actually was just in the Netherlands at a conference having to do with all of this. And they say that mycelium is going to, yeah, it's like a hidden gem. So they're making, which is mushrooms. So they're
right.
making fabric out of it. They're making uh, uh, furniture out of it, like side
Wow.
tables. Like it's bananas. And you would never
Wow.
guess.
Yeah.
You never guess in a million years. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I would say more natural, like just being aware of natural, like when you're choosing products. Just thinking
Hmm.
about how it's being made and so forth. Another big thing, like so I tell the girls in my office is we have a checklist. Um, so because of course this is ingrained in me, but it's not ingrained in everyone who works in my firm. So we have a checklist that sits up or that's in our office. And so things they look for are, are the products, like how are they made? So for example, rugs, are they good weave rugs? Are they labeled? Is your fabric Okotex? Is it organic? So we look for labels. As you talked about, is it circular? So is it made from recycled product too versus actually extracted from earth? Like there's so many things and so many companies now, like even like Loy Loy Rugs labels all of their stuff now to
Hmm.
um, Maxwell Fabrics, to JF, like all of these, most of them will label stuff now. So,
Hmm.
which is really helpful.
Well, it must be an indication that the consumer is asking for these things by name. And I do think the time is ripe to kind of lean into it. Um, and maybe even use it in your marketing efforts to make sure people know that this is who you are and what you stand for. I could see a huge commercial application here as well. Do you ever do commercial projects?
You know what? Pre-COVID I did, but not since COVID. I
Oh,
haven't.
interesting.
I'd like to get back into it. It's
Mhm.
just the way that work has gone lately. It's just been mostly residential. So.
Right. So, like so many things, what we're actually saying is just slow down, take time to consider the impact that you're going to have on the earth. If there's a way to reuse something, to give it away, to sell it, to repurpose it, then do that.
Yeah.
I love, like, we're doing a presentation this upcoming week, and the client already purchased several carpets, all wool carpets for their main floor, which don't work anymore, but they're going to work perfectly in the kids' bedrooms. So the kids right now have no carpets in their bedroom. So they're going to get these beautiful wool carpets. And that might seem extravagant, but the option is what? you toss them, which is
Exactly.
insane, right? Or anyway, so I think that that's an important message for all of us. Thank you for that. We love to end every episode with design intervention. Just a great piece of advice you want to leave everybody with.
I would say definitely to really align your business with your values. Listen to your body, and if you feel that you are not, yeah, if you're going through what I went through and you're not sleeping well and you're stressed out all the time, there's something that's not aligning, and you really should try desperately. I would say, in order to have a happy job or a happy design job, is to align your business with your values.
I think that's really good advice. I remember so clearly when I first started out, the way that I would mark up the products I was selling was making me feel sick because I was living in fear that the clients were going to ask me what was the original price and how much money did you mark it up? And I had just so many broken strategies, and I would just live in fear of that question. So of course they asked me that question all the time, and I began to feel like I was cheating somehow. I couldn't live with it. I just couldn't live with it. So I know exactly what you mean. If you're acting outside of your values, you're going to suffer in some way. But too often, I think we have a high tolerance for pain and we just keep going, which is bad advice. Don't do it.
I know, I know. I think a little bit of age too, it changes a little bit too.
Yeah,
It goes
age is
down.
good.
Yeah.
Age is an asset. That is something I've been thinking a lot about lately, that's for sure. But anyway, it was so lovely to meet you. Thank you so much and continued success.
Thank you, Kimberly, and thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Oh.